that. So the way we created the date, we create the date table is by getting a new table, which is called a calculated table, which is means this table is not existing. We are creating a table from the scratch. It will not be available in Power BI. Is in Power Query in Query Editor. It will only be available in the Power BI desktop where we are now. So you will not be able to do anything data cleaning with this table in the Power Query. So now the method to create the table is to create a new table, which we have now, and change the column name to be the D date. I'm sorry, we are going to use this table as a date. So D date equals, there is a function in the Power BI called calendar auto. So you can see here calendar and calendar auto. Both are same. Calendar means you are creating a calendar like a column of all the dates between one date to another date. So you need to give a start date and an end date in this calendar function. And there is another function called calendar auto, which if you click, it will just scan itself all the data in your fact cells and in a database that we are working with, and create a calendar table itself automatically. So if we click hit enter, it will create a date table starting from the day one where the data is started, and until the last day of the year in which the data is ending. So if let's say the data is ending in 2019, the date will end starting from 2017. It will take from 1st January 2017 until the 2019 end of 2020. So because the data have five date transactions until 2020, so it created the date table. Now this date table is important because it has no missing dates. For Power BI to do analysis like quarterly sales, monthly sales, yearly sales, all those kind of functions need a continuous date. Otherwise, you will not be able to get a proper result, and it need to be marked as a date table. So there is an option here, mark as date table. We go ahead and do that. Mark as date table. Yes, select the column. Of course, it will ask the column is date, and then we click OK. So now it has been marked as a date table, and then you will see here is a date over a date. So it's a date table, D date, and then you have one column only, date column. But this date column itself is not enough for us to do the analysis, because we may want to do the data by month, by year. So we need to extract the data from here into the month and year. So how do we do that? So here now we don't need to add a new date. We need to create a new column. That is means we are creating a DAX, a calculated column here, implicit measure. Click on new column. It will add a new column. So what do we want? We want a month name first, or a month number, so that we can analyze the data by month name and by the month number. So both ways we can say month name. Let's say month name equals. Now we need to use formula called format, so that we can get the data format. The format is what? Value is D date, because we are taking we are basing it on the date table. So we are going to use date in the date table. Sorry, it's available here. D date as a measure. Format we want is the month name. So we can say, what do we say? XXX? No. Again, format. specified value or to the text in the specified number format. Let's say we want to say Jan, and then we want to close it month. No, the date column. Oops. Need another argument as format. Did not wrote the formula. I don't use the month name. I just use the month, the date, and date, and then close it, and then see how does it work. Okay, so we got the month number, not the month name. Okay, uh, and then we can get the same way the year as well. So we got the month name, month number first, and then we can get by the month name as well. I think we just have to find a way to it. Let me just do a bit of search. Ah, okay, got it. So now we add one more column for month name, because month name is going to be better to be used on the reports rather than the month number, month name. So we will use the format, and the formula here is the date, MMM is for the month name. I guess it works. Oops, it doesn't work. Date. Okay. Date, the date, and then MMM. Sorry, MMM. In the F first, in the commas, in the quotation marks. No, does not work. I guess we don't need to use the. Sorry, guys. Sometimes we forget how the how we worked out the past time. Now it's working. So sorry again. The month name we got by using the syntax called format. So you can see here format and just only the column name. The column name which is available is here d date column, and the MMM stands for the three digits of the month which we are going to use. So it says here January, February, March. If we want to use, let's say in our report full names, then we could add one more M here, and then it would change it to the full name January, February, March, April, May, June. But ideally, we use only three, so we change it back to three. Now again, we can add, we don't have the year to sort, so we can use year, new column, year equals year syntax f function year function, and then we just need to tell them the date d date, and the column is the date. So that's how we can use it, and then we get the year as well. We can use quarter as well if you want to get the quarter. Let's say we want to get by quarter. What is the sales by quarter? So you can say quarter number, but mind it, this quarter is going to be the calendar year quarter, not a financial year quarter. Quarter, the date, column number date, and then we close it. So how do we get financial year quarter? Let's say if we want to get if our we are actually following the financial year, so how do we get the quarter number? So the way to do it is that we need to create a conditional column here. So the idea is if let's say we divide the if let's say we divide the sorry we click on wrong. So there is a way to do it, right? So if let's say from 1 to 3 I cannot do anything. But if it's 4 means the April, if I divide this by 4 and make it and remove the decimals, then it will be considered as a 4 divided by 4 is equal 1 means 1 first quarter. 5 divided by 4 is again only 1. 6 divided by 4 is again only 1. So that's only the first quarter, right? The 7 is again divided by 4 comes to more than 1.5. So it means if we round up, then it will become a second quarter already. Or if we can divide by yeah, that's the idea, because you have four quarters, so you can actually use this for making these calculations. So round up is the method to calculate the quarters. Okay. So, but let's not do that now. We are okay with the calendar quarter first for the time being. Are we able to copy and then split the date column to separate out month and year? No, you cannot, because this is not in Power Query. If you go to home, this splitting of columns is available only in transform data, not in the Power BI. So if you go to transform data, you will not see this as a query. You see, this is only F sales, budget sales, category, product. There is no date table here. If we had a date table, then it would be okay. We could use that. Otherwise, now we cannot do it. In this particular table, we can, but in this particular date, we can. We can split the columns and separate the years. But for the date table that we have created, we cannot do it because that's not available in Power BI or Power Query. It's available only in Power BI. So we have to use this method for creating the year or the quarter or anything else. We could also do by week. If we want to do by week, we could do by weekday number or anything else. So that's the option available to us. Sometimes so that's the minimum number of columns that we want in order to analyze monthly sale, quarterly sale, and yearly sales. So let's stick to it for now. Otherwise, we can have multiple options. We don't want to do all of them now. Okay, so we have all what we need. We have our date table marked as a date table. We have our product tables, sales rep IDs, and fact sales. So now we need to calculate the total sales. Let's say now we want to start doing some analysis already. We have done the basic data modeling work. We have created a relationship. Oh, sorry, we have not created a relationship. We have a date table here, but we have not done any relationship with them. So the relationship is simple. We just need to drop the ISO date onto the date, and then it will create a relationship. Because the common thing between the fact sales and the date sale is that it's combined by the date only. There is no other relationship. So once we have done that, now we can go back to our visual and say, what do we want to do first? We want to create a we want to create a sales, total sales. But there is no total sales here, right? So ideally we should calculate a sales column, and then only we will be able to sum it. But since we don't have that, what we are going to do is we uh, we need to create a formula here. So we need to create a measure, new measure, and we need to say this is going to be the sales, right? Unit sold into the price. So where is the price? The price would be in the product sales. So let's hide this out, let's hide this out, and then we keep only these two things open. Units sold, discount percentage, retail price. Okay. So we just need to see what is called, and then we will be able to multiply them. So we call new measure. So if you want a total sales, now we can, the one way was that we could add a table into the fact cell and multiply with the unit sold in this one and with the retail price in the another one. But we don't want to do that. We want to create a total sales, say gross sales. Gross sale is equal to, we cannot just say sum because we don't have anything to add. We need to multiply first and then add, right? So here there's another formula called sum x. Sum x is like a sum product in Excel file where you are multiplying the two columns and add it up together. So that's the idea here. Sum x is the same thing. So sum x is going to create the formula. So we are now going to add type the unit sold, sorry, uh, F sales. No. it's not going to take that. Table and expression. Oh, sorry, yes. F cells. And then the expression is going to be, so where we want to do the sum x. Sum x we want to do in F cells. And the expression is going to be units sold multiplied by the retail price. So the F cells units sold, we can click on it as well. Multiply by, multiply by what? Multiply by D product. Oh, A is not available here. So we need to use, we need to have another function called use relationship, and then we can find the D product and retail price. Click on it and close it. Close the parenthesis of all, and when then we click enter. If you, what did we do? We already have two. Use relationship. Column name 1. So column name is the product ID. And the second is going to be the existing relationship to be used in defining the name and argument, the two columns that serve as an endpoint. Category name. Okay, I think I used wrong formula. So we use something called calculate.